Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is the ninth film from writer-director Quentin Tarantino, and it is somehow both the most and least Quentin Tarantino film ever made. If you can think of a Tarantino trope, it's probably in this movie. Punchy dialogue, obscure rock music, foot fetishes, it's all in there. Now, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is not like most of Tarantino's previous films, as it is not a plot heavy film. It's not fast paced or momentum heavy like his previous work. It's very much of a slow burn, and I really enjoy that. This movie is kind of a hangout movie. That's kind of what it is, as it centers on our three main characters, two of which are the fictional characters played by Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, Rick Dalton, and his stunt double, Cliff Booth. The movie kind of follows these two and Margot Robbie's Sharon Tate as they go through a day in the life of 1969 Hollywood. Now, this movie has been the topic of discussion for several reasons, but I'm just going to review it as a film. And as a film, it is 100% a definite must watch. This film is incredible. The acting is amazing. Everybody will talk about Leo, and he is great in this movie. But Brad Pitt is the star. Make no mistake. Brad Pitt steals the show in every scene that he's in, and it is impossible not to root for his character. Margot Robbie is so achingly human as Sharon Tate. There is a moment where she goes to watch her own movie in the film, and seeing the audience's reaction to a funny moment in her film, she makes it so heartbreaking, but it's so human, and she's naturally so angelic. So Margot Robbie as Sharon Tate is pitch perfect. The cast is very good from top to bottom. Everybody from all the way to the top to the smallest supporting role is right on point. From Leo down to Kurt Russell and Al Pacino and even Luke Perry, rest in peace. Everybody's perfect. Now, this movie's pacing could be off-putting to a lot of people, as it is a slower movie. It's not a typical Quentin Tarantino movie, but I actually think that's why I liked it so much. I'm not really a fan of the hyper-violent revenge fantasies that Tarantino was really known for making. But this movie is really not that. Now, I'm not going to get into the plot details because that would be spoiling the movie, but all you need to know is that this movie is very much a stylized love letter to a bygone era. This movie is a tribute to the trends, the city, and the movies that made Quentin Tarantino the man, and more importantly, the filmmaker that he is. This is a love letter to the end of an era. The traditional Hollywood studio system ended in this movie, and that plays a big role in this movie in terms of the metatextual narrative. It almost serves as a loss of innocence story, because we know that the Manson murders are the backdrop to this film. And a lot of people were worried that Quentin Tarantino was going to glamorize these murders. Thankfully, he did not do that. Instead, this movie is more of, I believe what this movie is Quentin Tarantino's vision of the way that he wishes things would have gone. That is why the movie is called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's not just a cute title, it's not a pun. It is very much the kind of fairy tale that Tarantino wishes played out instead of what actually happened. This movie is perfect, from the cinematography to the acting to the screenplay. And it takes a hard turn in the third act, and whether or not that third act works for you, I think is really going to determine whether or not you like this movie. Personally, I loved it, therefore I loved the movie. Third act worked for me, I enjoyed it, I thought it made complete sense, and I actually found it to be a bit cathartic, but everything in this movie works. The cinematography is stunning. Seeing Quentin Tarantino reimagine Hollywood to the era that he knew it as is just gorgeous. It's so realistic. I mean, the production design, the costuming, the hairstyling and makeup, it's all so authentic. Everything about this movie feels so genuine and lived in, and I really, really like that. This movie, again, is not very plot heavy. It's a character piece, it's a tonal piece. Tarantino is trying to harken back to a time that he loves so much, and I think that he does so very, very successfully. Whether or not you find certain aspects about this film controversial, that will be up to you. But ultimately, I really, really enjoyed this movie, guys. I don't know what else to say. You can read my written review, I'll link it in the description. But for me, right now, this is the best movie of the year. I loved it. I highly recommend it to everybody. It is a must watch. Thank you for watching.